start with Mike. Since January, Indiana's jobless rate has dropped from 10.7 to 9.1%. And that was as of April. I'm not sure what it is this month. I'm sorry, as of March. Clark County's jobless rate is higher than the state average at 10%. What are your plans for attracting more business and industry to Jeff?
Well, I think it starts, with what you have around you. If you're looking to get new businesses to relocate to Jeff, first off, they are going to look at quality of life issues, but they're also going to look at cost of living. They're going to look at sewer rates. They're going to look at our school system. They're going to look at our riverfront. They're going to see all of these things and they're going to say, okay, Jeffersonville looks like a worthwhile place for us to go. But if those sewer rates and those tax rates are so high that their employees are not going to be able to sustain their livability here, they're going to look elsewhere. And that's where my real issue with what we're facing in Jeffersonville is. There's plenty of other options out here. Clarksville is busting at the seams. Sellersburg is growing. Charlestown is growing. What gives Jeffersonville the upper hand in drawing these new businesses to come? I don't think we're displaying that right now. Let's fix up 10th Street. Let's bury the utility lines. It took $1.6 million, the city of Jeff told us, to bury those utility lines. They said we didn't have the money, but yet they took $9 million away from the 10th Street TIF and moved it over here to the Canal District to buy up homes. As a 10th Street business owner, as a resident of Jeffersonville, to ignore the problems on 10th Street is to ignore the problems of growth. Thank you. You make me talk fast when you give me
You're doing a good job.
I get so interested, sometimes I forget to check my watch, so I'm sorry if I've not been exactly. Matt?
Well, I think Mike hit it right on the nose. The biggest thing being taxes. Being a Class 2 city, Nathan Samuel got on to me about calling us a second-class city. We are a Class 2 city now in Jeffersonville because we've grown. And that gives us the ability to levy our own tax away from the state-mandated 1%, 2%, 3%. And if we're going to be doing that in Jeffersonville to pay for some of our city projects, we're not going to be appealing to to businesses that are looking to relocate, specifically to this area. Also, he addressed, the sewer rates as well. That, people don't want to move to Jeffersonville if they're paying more to live here. They'll go to Clarksville or they'll go to Charlestown. Housing prices being down, someone my age can afford, with a job, can afford to, buy a house right now because prices are so low. I looked into a couple of houses with a real estate agent, and then we announced that sewer rates were tripling, and that doesn't fit into my budget. So I can't move to Jeffersonville if I can't afford to live in Jeffersonville.
Let me first say that I think that question's kind of directed towards the executive, the mayor's position.
It is,
Because-
but I would still like to hear it because
Sure.
you have to work hand in hand.
Absolutely, and that's where I was going to go with it, is that the council, is the biggest responsibility of the council is the fiscal arm, okay? There's other aspects, but the council can't hire anybody. Only the mayor can hire. So what ends up happening is the mayor needs to drive this with the council's interaction and support. The mayor needs to drive this, and the council needs to help the mayor shape his economic plans. And so, in answer to that question, the council generally looks at tax abatements, looks at as being a good representative and increasing the quality of life and opportunity so that when businesses come here, they say, this is a place we want to be. So, with that, I'd say tax abatements, working with the mayor, and just trying to increase the quality of life, and when business leaders do come here from time to time, to be a good ambassador to the city.
One of the things that I done when I was on the city council is I wrote the tax abatement ordinance. Before I wrote the tax abatement ordinance, we were given tax abatements haphazard to depend on who you knew when you come into the city and everything. I wrote a tax abatement ordinance so that it would set a standard for everyone. I would encourage our city council members to continue to work by a tax abatement ordinance to get these things done and to encourage businesses to come in. And Ed talked about the mayor hiring. That's one of the things I'd also encourage, is that city council people do not go to work for the city. It's a conflict, as far as I'm concerned, it's a conflict. We don't need to be doing that.
Pat?
Thank you. One of my backgrounds is that I'm a realtor, and what I'd like to see the city do is take a little bit of a heavier stance in going out and looking for the type of businesses that they would like to have come in here. As realtors, we all go out to Las Vegas looking at different franchises that go up there, set up booths, and they're looking for communities. So I'd like to see us take a little bit more of aggressive stance in searching out different businesses that we think would work well. And I think that would be, I mean, we have Youngstown. That would be nice to be able to help them find the good tenant and someone we'd like. So for me, I'd like to focus on us reaching out just a little bit more. That's it.
I believe creating a business-friendly tax structure, making sure the quality of life and the safety of the city will attract businesses here. The city that lives within its means will attract businesses who will come and make those means grow. That being said, one of the biggest things that I will bring in is communication with those who vote. I was part of the annexed area and didn't believe I had a voice. I want to be that voice now, and I want to listen. Listening, fiscal responsibility of the city, and through favorable tax structures, and through public safety issues, because nobody comes here if they're not safe. I came here and I feel wonderful here, and I believe it's safe. Thank you.
A couple of things I think that are real important. One is I think we need to keep encouraging the businesses that are here. I think we need to encourage them to grow and want to do more business here, explore possibilities, maybe that branching out, doing other business opportunities. The other thing that I want to allude to that Pat had mentioned, I sit on the Department of Redevelopment, and about probably 4 months ago, we authorized a company to do a study of Jeffersonville businesses. And it was very interesting to see. They did a study of what Jeffersonville can't provide for our citizens, such as a shoe store, for instance. There's no real standalone shoe store. Does that mean that we can substantiate one? Doesn't mean that just because we don't have one. But it went into great detail on demographics of how many people are in Jeffersonville, what they shop for, where they go to shop, where they go to buy a pair of shoes. Can we afford to bring in a business, and how would we do it? Very interesting study. A lot of realtors were there, which encouraged me that they would have some tools in their toolbox to go out and solicit some other businesses.